So I have a new compressor that is destroying all my other compressors in the box. And there's one reason why that is, and that is because of the visual aids. And the compressor I am talking about is the Sonible Smart Comp 2. And I'll tell you what, it is brilliant. Not only is it a great sounding compressor, right? The compressor's brilliant, right? There's nothing that I could say, this is bad about the compressor. There's nothing. It's a great compressor. It compresses sound just like all the other compressors I've got. But one thing the Smart Comp 2 has, and we're not going to talk about AI learning and all that, because put that aside, because I don't personally touch it with a barge pole. But what Smart Comp 2 does have, and the reason it is smart, and it's not because of the AI learning, the reason it is smart is because of the visual aids and the way you can look at this compressor. And I'll tell you what it's exactly like. Have you ever used a compressor, recorded through it, printed the audio, looked at the audio, compared it to the original audio, and then gone, right, okay, yeah, I can see what it's doing? That is what this is doing in real time. You can see every little thing that it is doing. If you turn the attack up, turn the release down, whatever you do, you can see the waveform move in the way, and the gain reduction move to kind of compensate for what it is you're doing. And it visually shows you what the compressor is doing. And that, for me, is brilliant. And it's not just for, let's say, people who don't know a lot about compressors. People like myself who know everything there is to know about compression. It's great for us because we can visually see exactly what is going on. And like I will when I use a compressor, analog, whatever, I will see the compression in my head. I will see what is visually on that screen. But I don't have to do that now. It's visually there in front of me. I can see exactly what is going on, and it is incredible. Take that aspect out of it, right? It's just another compressor. Add this visual aid to it. It's an incredible compressor that gives you such a better compression than anything else because of what you're seeing. And that's what I want to highlight in this video. So we're going to run some audio through Smart Comp 2 and just show you and talk you through a few of the things that it's doing. And I'm not going to go through all the features. I'm just going to go through the key features and what it is that I like to use with Smart Comp 2 and why the visual aids are so impressive. What we have is, first of all, is the kind of compression section. We have threshold, we have ratio, release, attack, knee. Simple, exactly the same as any other compressor you will use. You'll see here we have learning, which we can select to do AI learning. Personally, for me, don't touch it. I will never touch it. I would advise, learn how to use compression yourself. Don't use AI learning. I'm not a massive fan on it. You got a soft limit there as well, and we have output controls, wet dry, which is brilliant. Then we have the side chain section. We also have style, spectral, and color, which give us, we can change style of compression, spectral comp, and color. Let's just run through some audio, and we can then hear exactly how this compressor is working. And what I want you to really kind of concentrate on is the visuals. When we look at this, how we look at this compressor, look at the visuals and the way that it's so helpful in what it's showing you visually. Now, as I said before, if you are trying to learn compression, you don't understand compression like 100% just yet, which is like 50% of people, even more maybe. This is a great compressor to learn about compression because it shows you everything. Now, what we're doing here is we're bringing the threshold down, and we can visually see the waveform and the dynamic peaks So we're hitting those, and then what if you look closely right in there, what you can see is the kind of faded sections. Now the faded sections are obviously what's being affected, and that's the new signal. That's what's being removed from the compression. Whilst doing the compression, that's what's being removed. So you can really see, like, let's go drastic on the threshold here. Now when we turn up the ratio, watch the peaks smoothen off as they're being limited, because it's acting more like a limiter when we're using it like that. So the peaks are smoothing out. Let's turn that down a touch. You've also got things like, let's turn the attack down so we catch all the fronts of those peaks. Now see the limiting that's going on there when we're putting it onto a ratio of 10. Turn it back and you'll see that the dynamics pull out a bit more. So this is what I'm getting at with regards to, if you don't understand compression, this visual aid is going to give you so much insight into what compression does. So if you move on to another compressor and use something else, you will be able to turn that ratio up, but think like what you're seeing here, because you can then understand exactly what compression is doing. So let's look at release now. So let's turn the ratio up. Now let's put a lot of release on. Now look at the compression holding. You can see how the compression holds. Now we turn it down. You can see how it's fast. So you'll get a real great understanding of exactly how compression works when using this compressor, and that's what I really love about it. That's what I'm really keen on with it, is the visual aids. And even if the compressor wasn't the best sounding compressor in the world, which it's a great sounding compressor, it's as good as any other compressor you will hear in the plug-in world. It's the visual aids that really sell it. So let's move on to a drum loop now. So there we have the Sonible Smart Comp 2. Now I didn't dive into it as much as some other people will, because, you know, this for me and this explanation is all about what you can see visually. This is what sells this compressor. This is what this compressor is all about. It's not about the learning, AI learning, because, you know, you want to learn how to compress a sound properly. That is what you're going to learn how to do when you use this compressor, just because of the visual aids. There's some brilliant features with it. The sidechain, I didn't take a look at that for you, but there's lots of other videos that will go on about the sidechain, will go on about the AI learning, all the other little bits. This for me right now is talking to you about how you see that visually on screen. And I think we can all agree that we know a little bit more about compression after watching this video. If you didn't already know all about compression, you just those visual aids alone will show you what you're doing. They are going to give you that tiny little bit of extra aid to compress exactly how you want to compress. This is why I'm loving the Sonible Smart Comp 2, because what it is doing is it's giving me an extra dimension to my compression, because I'm not just now using a compressor to compress. I'm using a compressor compressing, getting the sound that I want, but visually seeing that and what's happening, and how my use of the ratio, how my use of the attack and the threshold is actually affecting the waveform. And I can visually see that without having to print the file and then go back in and have a look at it. I can see that in real time what is actually happening. Yeah, so that is the Smart Comp 2, and this is my compressor that I'm using every single mix as my compressor, and it's a brilliant compressor, and I'm really pleased with it.